Hi there, it's Kevin with the Rogue Market here with an update to the 2024 market as well as the remaining deals that we have at the distribution level, which I want to make everyone aware of. These are drying up quick. So if you are a patron of mine, do not wait to take advantage of many of these deals. I was actually very pleasantly surprised when I was doing some analysis between how much these cost at the distributor level as how much they're going for on TCG Market. And for months and months, I'd even say for a year, we had seen an inverted where if you bought from distributors, you'd be losing money. Like right off the gates, it would be 4 fees if you even tried to sell on TCG Player. And that is mainly due to the Amazon dumps, which have now stopped happening. So I am pleasantly surprised that the market was able to rebound as quick as it did without Wizard of the Coast shenanigans of dumping products and overprinting. And there is it's crazy. I've never seen a market turn so quickly. Now, of course, could this be a dead cat bounce where it's just like, okay, well, people are just let's throw some money because we have this pause in the Wizards hasn't come out with a major set that people have got super excited about, with Ravnica Remastered being kind of a lull, and the Murders at Karlov Manor also being very, very underwhelming comparatively speaking, and no Lord of the Rings that have been released now for what was that in the summer? That was the last big release with any sort of product that everyone lost their minds about. That there's been a movement towards the money that would have gone towards those to purchasing some of these products that don't no longer seem like they're such a waste, with Standard and Pioneer and even like Pauper Commander going up in price in the past few months. So it's been a wild ride. We saw 2023 and 2022 just absolutely eviscerate people's collections. We were looking at our store and we lost about 40% of our, all of our inventory that we had held on to, just our normal inventory. We've lost about 40% of the card singles as well as the sealed product. And we've actually, I never thought that many of these things would recover as quick as they did. So one of the things that I do for my patrons, as I do run a Discord server, and we do talk about these quite frequently, of these products, of where they're at right now, where do I foresee them going, and I want to give you kind of a sneak peek into that. Right here, I run kind of these Google Sheets. They're kind of messy. I'm not the greatest creator when it comes to like fleshing out spreadsheets and whatnot. So this is a little spreadsheet that I made that kind of shows the current price of these deals that I'm getting from distributor. Now, these are only ones right now that are quote unquote on sale. These are going for less than you'd normally get from distributors. So typically speaking, draft boosters, I'm so glad I no longer have to say draft and set, by the way, since we have just play boosters. Draft boosters, the going price before they switched over to play boosters out the gates would be about $97 to $100. Like $95 to $100 is what you would expect to pay from distributors for any old draft booster. And then the set boosters were around 100 to 105. And so these sales, even though they are very small comparatively speaking to that price, they still were deals that you could get at the distribution level comparatively where they typically do sell them. And I have this column right here on the right, which was a TCG market price. And so these links will take you to TCG Player, and then have the difference of the savings here. So for example, this Dominaria Remastered can be purchased right now from distributors for $80 after all the PayPal fees and the distributor fees and whatnot. And they're going for about TCG Market for 105 when you combine the lowest that you can get it now and paying shipping on it. It'd be 105 out the door, and the difference would be you save $25. When I did these deals last month, a lot of them were inverted the other way. They were more like this New Capenna, where you'd actually lose money. And not only like $5, $5 is actually low. Some of them you would lose $20, $30, $40 because it was much cheaper. And after talking to distributors, they have actually lost a lot of clientele, or a lot of people just not even caring about, a lot of stores, newer age stores, not even really caring to sign up with distribution, because not only were TCG Player or eBay or Amazon prices cheaper, but you didn't have to go through the headaches of having to produce licenses, and a lot of times there's this wait list with distributors. And I know of many. There's a one that's local. I would say local. It's like 50 minutes from here. They still don't, to use the bulk of their purchases, they still don't use distributors. They've just been using the Amazon dumps and the eBays and the TCG Player. And not only that, but there's just been oodles amounts of product that you can get, even right at release, for these sets. So you never really needed to be incentivized to have a distributor. And now we're starting to see that, okay, the consolidation of stores, a lot of people that thought they could make a go at online selling have been, it's been consolidated. They can no longer, they didn't make money in 2023. They didn't make money in 2022. And they don't have the edge of the brick and mortar stores of just having that walk-in purchases of people willing to pay more for the products. Rather than wait for something to be shipped to them via like Amazon or 2C Player and all the headaches that goes with not having the product in hand when you make a purchase. So anyway, the last time I updated this, I had to change a lot of these into the positive, where you'd actually save money for the difference. So in this video, I'm gonna take a look at 3 products I really like and on here, and there are more deals that I will be adding to this. Unfortunately, this was like at the start of December or January. You can actually go back to a few of the other videos I did there. There was like triple the amount of deals. I'm kicking myself. I know everyone else is kicking themselves by not loading up, but none of us had money. I mean, that's kind of the problem with markets is when when one person's starving, everyone's starving. And so no one can really compete with the deals. Like the distributors are competing with like all these other places that are unloading them. And so, no one's making money. And so therefore no one's buying anything. And then it's just I'm still in awe of how things just, they turned on a dime of how quickly these prices recovered. And whatnot. So kudos credit where credit is due. Wizard Coast is doing a good job of revitalizing the standard market. They revitalized organized play. There's now the RCQ season that's happening with standard, which has driven up all the prices of these dead standard products. That was the main problem with the 2023 and 2022 was the standard prices were just abysmal because everyone was spending money on Commander. And I'm also seeing kind of the mood shift with players where players are more interested in playing standard, Pioneer, Pauper, Modern instead of going to Commander. I've dabbled in Commander, and every time I play Commander, it's just not the same experience. And so I just think there are people, and I'm not going to discredit Commander. It's really taken Magic the Gathering to the game it is today. In fact, that's why I still don't think like Lorcana and Pokemon and some of these other Flesh and Blood games have a chance to really compete with Commander or with Magic because they're missing that Commander format, which makes Magic a really, really good 1v1 format, but also has one of the most robust ways to play multiplayer. And both of them require a lot of purchasing cards and building your collection, and it's just not the same with like Pokemon and these other games. So anyway, I'm not discounting Commander for what it's done, but we haven't seen. Well, I think we're starting to see a lull in Commander for people preferring to go back to what does Magic have to experience with on the 1v1, and a lot of people are sick of MTGO and Arena and are starting to come back to cardboard. So I think there's a lot of factors that have all come at once. I would still, if I were to rank them, the number one being that we just haven't had like just a home run set release like Lord of the Rings that just gobbles up every bit of money. I mean, talk about a set that just had so much value in it that it was just duh. Even to pay way above distributor price, people were cracking Lord of the Rings and being able to sell the single prices, while the rest of Magic the Gathering was just in a free fall where, cards were losing 10% per month. Lord of the Rings was staying steady. And so it was just natural that all the money went to that. So I think that was the main factor. But then when you factor into all these other things that I mentioned earlier, where people are getting more interested in the standard play, we have the RCQ season, we have incentivizing it with regionals, nationals, and local level play. And it just, people I think are now, maybe we're starting to see the whole people have stayed at home for a lot of years during the COVID eras. I think we're starting finally to see with this winter people going to the good old days of going to your game store and busting out some cardboard games. So that has caused for all these dead products just to completely evaporate at these sales prices. So again, I would not wait on these. Here's kind of the sneak peek list of things that I have right now for the going rate, and in the future I'll try to add more as I see them. But right now, what I'm really seeing, the only new deals that are coming into the mix are Pokemon. There's so many deals on Pokemon right now, and that is just that brand is in a free fall. There are rumors that they're going to try to kind of tighten their belts too. Oh, and that is the other factor. There are rumors that Magic just quit printing so much with these releases, and I think there is some evidence with the Ravnica Remastered is the big one that had dismal sales, but the prices are actually staying pretty good. So food for thought there. So I do think that the the print runs were a lot less than Dominaria Remastered, for example, or Wizard of the Coast just didn't dump it all at once. So maybe that's where Wizard of the Coast is really using some prudence here, is they're not just like, okay, market, take what you can, and we'll dump the rest on Amazon. Maybe they have got into a little bit of the warehousing business, where they're temporarily storing stuff and they'll be slowly releasing it into distribution, which I think is just a much better way of handling things, because you don't get this FOMO, you don't get this like it's typically true demand that starts to be at play. They can release as needed, and it can fill the distribution as needed, and everyone gets the product as needed, rather than these big dumps and then nothing and then dumps and then nothing type. So surplus and then starvation type of mode. So anyway, now that you're on to my analysis here of products that I think are good, let's just talk about 3 products. The first one I really like is Modern Horizons. So Modern Horizons has been selling quite consistently, like a few boxes a day, but I noticed this one was a set that did have the inverted, like a loss. So a few weeks ago, this was, you could actually see, like a month ago, this was going for like the 175s. And there are so many vendors that were selling them for this price. And you can see that it just slowly started eking up. And now we've seen it did have a little bit of dip again, but now we've seen it flatlined out. But then what really impressed me is I went down here. So there's been this seller that's selling at 196.15 with shipping included. And then we have this 185.20. And then you start to really jump up here into it doesn't take long for the 209. And what I think is so good about Modern Horizons 2 is Modern Horizons 3 is going to come. And when we saw Modern Horizons 1 actually go up in price, it was one of those sets that also stayed dead for quite some time because of overprinting, because of just lack of people interested in the format. When we saw Modern Horizons 1 go up in value, though, is when Modern Horizons 2 started hitting the mass supply. And then Modern Horizons 1 was bought out, and it just skyrocketed. And so I'm thinking the same effect is going to have with Modern Horizons 2 when Modern Horizons 3 comes out. And I think that's in the spring, or maybe it is summer, maybe it's even a little bit later down the year. But it is on the horizons. Pun intended. Modern Horizons 3 is announced. It is coming out. Who knows if the print run will be a lot less for Modern Horizons 3. So that might have a little bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy there of like, okay, if people try to get in on Modern Horizons 3 at a certain price tag and it gets all eaten up and it goes up much higher than Modern Horizons 2 is, and they look back and say like, well, there's Urza's Sagas and Ragavons in Modern Horizons 2, and maybe there isn't a card at the same power level in Modern Horizons 3. I think this product is going to be a much more attractable product, and especially the set boosters, and that's kind of the deal that I can get right now. So if I can get these Modern Horizons right now at I believe it's at 185 is what I get that in. They're already $10 cheaper right now than if you can get on TCG Player. I think that's just a home run for something that, it's a great draft set. It has really iconic cards that are good in both Commander and in Modern. And I highly doubt that Modern Horizon 3 is going to push out a lot of power level from 2. I think we're going to see a little bit of a power reset with in the coming future of, not as pushed cards. They're going to be more explorative cards where they could be powerful, and that might lead to bans and stuff, but as a whole, I don't think that we're going to see a set as powerful as Modern Horizons 2. I still believe that it is the most powerful set ever printed, that even better than Master sets with just the sheer power and sheer amount of cards that see play in both the Modern and Modern Legacy and Commander formats. And so going forward, I do expect this product to cover quickly, especially when these last bits under the 200s are eaten up. I think that's when we're start to see the mass price increase of this one. So this one is one that I wouldn't wait on. There isn't going to be any more of this supply. Apparently, distributors got their last call from Wizards of the Coast. So again, it makes me think that Wizards of the Coast, I don't think they reprinted these. I think they have slowly started transitioning in a little bit into the warehouse business, and haven't been dumping so many things as much on Amazon and expecting distributors to take such lion's shares like they did. They've been slowly allowing distributors to order as needed, and that's again a much more healthy ecosystem than the Amazon dumps. So here we have it with that. I think it's a very, very good deal for the Modern Horizons. Next one we have is the Dominaria. So this one, I don't know where it came from. I don't know why the distributor has a special on this. I don't know how many boxes I can get, and I got to caution here. What can someone explain what happened here? Was there just a single seller that dumped these on? Were there just some found somewhere from WotC that they gave them back to distributors? But this Dominaria was a set that actually was super expensive. Yes, it was on its kind of death spiral here, but look at this drop. This drop just doesn't make sense, where it went from 140 to 110 in one day. And now we've seen in the past month, this slowly ticked back up. We actually load the sales data. Back in the 5th of December, people were purchasing this for $95. And it seemed to have quite a bit of supply if we load more sales here. There's, lots here. I don't know if there's one particular seller that just absolutely unloaded that just crashed this market. And then, you got all the, copycats. Like a lot of people actually on TCG Player, which is, it's weird how these markets, there's ways to make money just by human psychology in this. It's like one person jumps the gun and they price something super, super low because it's just like a forgotten set at the moment. And then everyone else copycats them like, I'm going to undercut them by 1 cent. So you look here, someone did. So someone posted like 94.94, and another vendor put for 94.93. And so I think people wake up and they look at their TCG Player and like, I want to be the lowest seller. And so they just go match lowest and then minus a penny. And then it causes like this trickle. And then people, what they do, a lot of other vendors, they just like match market price. And so, okay, well, a bunch of like the last 10 boxes sold are now for, if we take into account the 129, 129, 129.95, okay, that puts it like 110, would say, at the market price at TCG Player, or however they use to get their, market price. And there you go. There's the person that put it for 110. So, I mean, it just seems pretty logical with these 129 sales, these 94 sales here. This person probably adjusted it to market price. These people were like, being cutthroat and trying to be the lowest one out there. And this poor soul was like, let's just match market price of what it's going for. And it was dumped down all the way to 110. And then we see those ones were bought up, but then the people that had them, selling, that they were selling clear back here for the 129s, now they're back to doing that. So I don't know what this little dip here happened of what caused that. But for whatever reason, that also caused my distributor to lower the prices of Dominaria. So Dominaria is something I can get. This is OG Dominaria, by the way. This isn't, this... And this might be because a lot of the hits were printed in Dominaria Remastered. I'm not sure exactly, what makes this product a lot worse than what it was. But again, this is one that was super, super strong. Just a few years ago, a year and a half ago, it was selling for over 200. And that's, again, you can see the big free fall of the Magic the Gathering world with these prices with literally everything. That's why I had stomach ulcers, panicking of losing tens of thousands of dollars on, sealed product here locally for just stuff I had for the store for, long-term having this type of product available to the public. And so anyway, I think this is a pretty good deal right now. I don't know how many boxes I can get before they adjust it, but this is something that I can get right now for $105, which is $20 off of the TCG market price for what it's going for. So this is just one interesting one that I just happened to find that I think is a pretty good deal. And last but not least is this March of the Machine draft booster. Now, this one's very interesting because the prices of March of the Machine have just gone through the roof with the tallies going up and a lot of like $1 cards going to $5, a lot of, $5 cards going to $10, like that little range with the March of the Machines. This set was just something that came out at the wrong time period. Aftermath was poorly received, and that I think that put a bad taste in all of March of Machines because of how terrible Aftermath was. And again, this was the Lord of the Rings time period. This is the exact same time it came out, and Lord of the Rings just absolutely ate up all the money. However, this set was amazing. It had really good slots for the legendary cards. It had a actually really very robust standard amount of cards that are seeing playing standard, and even cards that see play elsewhere. And this set was just forgotten about when it's actually one of the better sets. I mean, compared to Ixalan, there's a lot of cards in here that are very comparable power level and amount of people actually playing them. So this was we saw every product from March of the Machines get absolutely dumped on the market. There was a time I was buying these for $105 for pre-release cases and it took down the price per pack. We were doing $5 drafts here locally for March of the Machines because I was able to pass on those savings to my locals, and we were able to draft for super, super cheap. And now the pre-release packs are back up to normal distribution price. You're paying like $20 for a pre-release pack, and that puts cases at, in the 270s at that point if you're paying that, price for it. And the collector boosters were dumped, and this is the last one that's still on sale. So everything from March of the Machines was just absolutely dumped. I could get discounts on all of it. The pre-release packs, the bundles, the collector's edition, the set boosters, all of them, the commander decks, all of those were at an incredibly discounted price. And now none of them are even close to distribution price. In fact, many of these products I can't even get at distribution level. And it is rumored that Wizards of the Coast changed its policy of having standard product last its longevity, last the duration of when it's in standard. They've squashed that. They're not going to be reprinting March of the Machines. That is just going to be done. And they're going to let the market just eat it up, and that's that. And if they need to do like other ways to get in reprints, they will. And it might actually cause a problem that we saw with New Phyrexian Innistrad, because it was kind of the same problem during that era of a little bit of overprinting during the Zendikar days, like right before Zendikar. Zendikar was one that they are also having a problem with it going out of stock while it was in standard, and just having like ludicrous prices for the that time period product. I lived through that. I'm a boomer. I'm that old. I remember buying product of that and having it just nowhere to be found online or in stores. You could get that, but it really came to the threshold was really broken at I remember it was like New Phyrexia and Innistrad. Those are two ones that were going for insane amounts of the cost, and they were still in standard. And it caused like a lot of stores and players to get angry because like, how are we going to play the accessible format? Standard was supposed to be accessible. It's supposed to have product available. And Wizards changed their policy of basically saying that they will always reprint as needed sets from the current standard era so that stores have them available. And then it led to just the mass overprinting of this day and age, especially when they added set boosters and collectors, because I don't think that Wizards of the Coast really knew how much to print of either one of those. And now we're seeing the market, if March of the Machines didn't get subsequent waves, and even though it was dumped during a time period where Lord of the Rings, like I said, gobbled everything up, this could be actually a scarce product. And this is another one, if you can actually see this, look at this. Look at this jump from $75 up to $81.22. And where are the $81.22s? Like, that's what it's saying this market price is. Okay, those are all gone now. There are no sellers. Those ones were eaten up here, in the mid-January. And now we're up to, the 105s after shipping. And so TC player data can be a little bit off, because you say, well, there's actually not that many sold in this time period, like 3 boxes. So why is there this big jump? It's because oftentimes stores see this, so they'll steal. You got to see that they handle inventory. Most of these stores are brick and mortar, so they have other outlets that they're selling it. So they use things like Binder POS, and they use a lot of these other softwares that allow them to sell on their site, allow them to sell on places like Amazon and eBay, and allow them to sell locally. And when it's purchased out of their inventory, it's taken off of the rest of these platforms as soon as it's purchased. And so what we are seeing is there probably was so many boxes around this $82 mark of what they're selling at. Like, look at how many of these were selling at this time period. And even though they weren't purchased on TCG Player, they were purchased elsewhere around these prices, and then it just took them out of inventory here on TCG Player. And now what we're seeing is just these are the remainder of the ones that are still up for grabs. And this one is just, look at the increase in just a week, where it's gone from, realistically speaking, you're paying 94 plus $9. You're paying 103 for a booster box from TCG Player if you get it at this rate, when a couple weeks ago it was 75, all day long. There were so many vendors. And so this is the one I'm looking at, as my number one pick, because I've already gone through this now with collector boosters that were sold for 116 or 105. You could get collector boosters for. And I think if we're looking at March of Machines, I'll just pull this up real quickly for what I'm talking about with the sealed product. Is now if we look at the collectors, 200? We have 200 now for March of the Machines. And if we actually look at the data, it's still selling. 2 were purchased today for 205, and all the vendors have gone up. And if we go over to the set boosters, again, set boosters were one that were dumped for around $70, $80. As you can go back here, you can find it for 88 on the lows here. I'm sure we can get 83. We have an 83 one here from just the 19th of January. That was just man, I woke up a couple days ago and it was the 19th. And now it's up to 110 for the set boosters. And this is another one that I could get for a sale price. I can't remember. You can go back to some of my videos and actually look at the prices of what we could get them for. And this is something I can no longer get it for. And back to pre-release kits, $20. I could get these for nothing. I could get these for $5. They're so cheap. Not $5. They were a little over that, $7 a pre-release pack or something. It was dirt cheap for a pre-release pack. Same thing with bundles. They blew up bundles for super, super cheap. All of these things were things you could get for pennies. Well, not quite that, but steeply discounted, we'll just say, for March of the Machine. So this is the one that I would pick, that I think that the draft boosters are they're just kind of lagging behind. And I definitely would not wait on the draft booster. So again, I'll try to do my best to continue to update these sales. I was telling I'm kicking myself because I was telling my patrons, just wait. There's going to be some more deals. You typically at the start of the year, after the slump of the people buy a lot of Magic products for Christmas. We're going to see sales at the start of the year for a lot of the stuff that didn't sell because we had a really, really rough Christmas season. Like, no one purchased nearly what they used to in collectibles for the Christmas season. So we're going to see distributors absolutely blow things out. And we're going to see even, like, I'd go this question, you think it's going to go lower than 80? And I'm like, if I was a betting person, I would say yes. Because I'd see my own data of things selling. I would see other people's data of things selling. And it just wasn't there. And so, like, okay, well, the distributors are already discounting right now. And they're competing with their other distributors discounting. So someone's going to have to budge here and be like, okay, we're going to dump this for even more. When I see like a notorious distributor that never puts anything on sale for blowing things out for super, super cheap. And then it just seemed like within like a week, it just snapped. And we just had just this massive amount of demand of people buying these, what I call these standard dead products they're released in 2023. So now I'm kind of on the bullish side that if you want to get in on this action, I would not wait. Will there be opportunities? Yes. I've done this for long enough that these markets go in little. I've never seen a downturn this bad. We'll say. So two factors. I've never seen a market like the COVID market that just went through the roof. All the free money that got just poured into collectibles. I don't think we're ever going to see that again. So don't be banking on that happening again. I don't think we're going to see this run, this early 2024 kind of bull market run, go back to that era. That's done with. It shouldn't have happened. But I've seen some other spectacular crashes in the past too during the Amonkhet days and whatnot. But I've also never seen as bad of a crash of 2023. So now I think we're going back to the period of normal of where there were going to be, and I actually do really like the period of normal because it allows people like me that have more insight, that have been in this game for a while, to actually make a lot more wise decisions. So again, with COVID, it was dumb. Everything just went up. You could have invested in the worst stuff ever and you won. And during the crash of 2023, you could have tried to hold on to the best-selling set. And like, okay, this one's going to be, beat the norm. I'm going to try to find something that will go up in value. And it held better, but it also still went down. And so, like I said, it was kind of a dummies game both ways. And now we're in the period of norm. It's going to be able for a lot of more savvy investments, or like this channel is more for managing your collection. For those type of purchases, it's going to really reward the person that is more knowledgeable. Like I said, the savvy. And that way you can get in on the action of when it's cheap before it goes incredibly expensive. And same thing, you can get out of things before things get reprinted and whatnot. It's a lot more, again, it becomes less of a dummy game. And those are the markets I really, really like. So I, for one, am really happy of the return to at least a normal, kind of organic, robust market rather than either a FOMO market or a, oh my God, the sky's falling market. So hope you all come along for the ride with me. I'd love to have you aboard. We have a very robust Discord server that talks about the market quite often, as well as you can get on action on any of these prices you see in front of you. And it's not limited to just the Magic the Gathering. Like I have tabs here for accessories and other things here that you can get in on. Just like I try to keep up to date with all of the Magic Gathering pricing. So love to have you aboard. Love to have you part of the family, of our kind of Discord family, and our rogue market, rogue deck builder, Gone Rogue Games kind of brand we got going on here. And yeah, so one thing too is this is a lot more interesting for me because now that I actually make money on Magic the Gathering and on buying and selling and looking at like commander decks that might spike prices, it's definitely a spell good news for this channel because you could see my attitude when this guy was both times when we were during the COVID years when everything was going up. It was just nonsense. It was just, I couldn't keep up. I couldn't keep up with just the absolute craziness. And the downside too, during the 2022, 2023 era is like, I couldn't have picked the best products. Like there could be a card that saw 1,000% increase because of Commander and it still went down. That's how terrible the market was. Anyway, exciting times ahead. Hope you are around to join me for the ride. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon and all that good stuff. And I'll see you in the next video.